Because you have organized the TED, so I assume you know a lot of the TED speech style. So if you can use like several sentences to describe your story as a whole, what kind of storyline would you give us?
It's tough. I never thought about this
It's okay, we can take time.
because uh, the idea of TED was to share, to bring the local voices or global voices on the global stage where people can learn from other experience and in different part of the world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
One of the thing which people don't know why I organized TEDx was because I'll give you a little bit of a different context to match this story. I come from a very humble family. I stayed in a village, and English is not my first language. So I used to learn English, and then because to learn English you need to listen. So the TEDx was the obvious choice because all the speakers on TED is the best speaker in that case. So that just helped me to learn my language, and because of that learning, gave me a motivation to bring those idea on the table, so the other people can learn in the different part of the world. That was
How old were you when you think of it?
it started in 2011, 12.
Oh, that's a lot.
Probably around 12 years ago, 12, 13 years ago.
So you're
Because-
basically a teenager.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah. So I studied in Hindi medium in village, no English teacher around. So you don't know what you are talking about, you are reading, whether it is right or wrong. So you are your own teacher, you are on your, a student yourself. So you always try to make best guess to learn how to learn it.
Yeah.
So practice in front of the mirror. That was one thing. I used to read out loud in front of the mirror, even though I didn't know what I was talking about. But yeah, that started, and that led me to YouTube in 2014 when I was in college. 2013 and 14, the YouTube was quite picking up, and I was in college. I didn't have that phone actually. Luckily, I was having a Vodafone single SIM only calling phone that time. I didn't have a phone actually.
Oh.
And in my computer lab, in my undergrad, so we used to have a internet lab. So we used to go to use computer.
Yes.
And that is where I used to go and sit and then watch those YouTube TED talk to listen and then improve my language.
And from that moment,
And
you
that
have a.
yeah, and that time onward, because I got my first smartphone in 2014 July. I still remember.
Oh.
Yeah, and then it was a Lenovo phone, a Chinese one, and that was the first camera phone I had.
Yeah. So why, as a child at that time, you think in this way, and why? I mean, when you go to the internet club, why don't you play games, computer games? You just want to learn your English. That's like you have a strong motivation at that time.
I mean, so I'm the first generation in education. So my father is a farmer, my grandfather is a farmer. I grew up in a farm, doing farming along with my school. I used to teach after my school to the kids their parents used to work in my farm. But I was like, what I can do different? Everybody is doing the same thing, and I wanted to understand how different world works. For us, different world means the developed world, America, US, I mean US obviously, Canada, UK, English-speaking country.
Yeah.
And you cannot understand these things. Obviously, reading newspaper, Hindi newspaper about English country is different, but understanding, listening, watching, seeing, talking, these things gives you direct access to these informations, and I wanted to learn more about that. A lot of my friends used to go and play cricket. I still used to go and play cricket, but back in my mind I used to think like what I can do, and then I started reading magazine. And magazine about what? Business management, Career 360. These are those magazines that used to come in 2008, 9, 10 when I was in school.
Okay.
Even though I didn't know how to read, how to completely understand those those
definitely.
language, but it helped. And because of that reason, I have a very strong understanding, or maybe driven towards business and education, and these management thing in general life, and the business, obviously.
So here's a very important question here. I mean, for a lot of first generation college kids, a lot of people gonna looking forward to a more stable life. Or maybe as a first generation of college kid, you're gonna learn like engineering. I don't know, it's a stereotype, sorry if it is. But in China, it's also the same thing. It's like doctor, lawyer, engineer. And why you want to learn business, and now you want to have your startup, and you are an MBA manager to help more people to explore a bigger world in business. I mean, that's a pretty bold move, because a lot of people would say business is useless in this way as education, and people would say doing a great business, you need to have a lot of resources, a successful family background, or anything, network. Why you choose to do business, not a stable lifestyle?
I always says you have to make decision, and the decision impacts your next step and the next life as well.
Yeah.
So if you want to live a happy, normal life, which is like you have a 9 to 5 job, you have a married life, one house, one car, one vacation in a year, that's great. But my motivation comes from very different context in general. I want to do something good for my society, where I grew up, and I want to do something meaningful in my life. To earn money, I can do it actually. But what makes me to do that? You either have a background, which I don't have. I have what background? A very humble kind and a grounded background, being authentic. That's what I am, and being genuine. That's what I am. How I can achieve that is through either education or the business. So if you work for company, and company as an entity has a bigger impact.
Yeah.
So you can make impact based on one individual contribution to the company, one profile, but you can make bigger impact when you start something. So either you go for a startup or you start education. So education is like, if you help one individual, that individual will get success, and that entire family root is getting somewhere else. For example, in my case, I'm the first generation coming in from my village. So I'm the only guy who is just sitting here in UK, Ireland, from that village. You know what I mean? And then you aspire hundreds of people out there to not to think like that, but think beyond what is possible.
Here's a little bit dark side, I would say, a little bit critical and dark. I heard some stories from my mother's generation. They have some friends who from humble background, and now they're very successful. But when I talk with them and I listen to their story, I feel like they have a strong motivation, which is want to change the status, the hierarchy. Their motivation is from something about hate. It's like, I hate my situation, I hate this environment. I hate how people treat me like shit. Sorry. And I'm so afraid of that, because I was like, oh my God. People cannot be happy when you develop in this way, but this really helpful to help them to make a big company, make a big success. So I was like wondering, maybe it works on some people. And have you think of it in this way, or have you observed some people who like us from this background and they thinking this way?
See, so I'll give you one example.
Yeah.
Whenever you try to break the cycle, whatever cycle, people will always have their own self judgment about that particular level. For example, you're trying to break the cell, you know, and you want to climb a little bit of higher.
Yes.
But those people are climbing this far and you want to climb this far. So that makes uncomfortable situation, right? And then they will observe and see and put some label on you, like you are insane, you think beyond your means, you are too ambitious, you are too much in your way. That should not stop you actually, because they have that bandwidth that they can think that level, but you have your own way and you have full sky has no limit. Then why you should have a limit? Just go for that one. That is well. And having these relative fear, I should say it fear. Obviously most of the people do it because they want to impress other people.
Oh, yeah.
Just because they want to impress other people, you buy a nice house, nice car, but you are
Have a trophy wife.
you are insane individual and you can't sleep over
Yeah.
at night, and then you start drinking and then things goes left, right, center, and you are insane in the end, miserable. That's good to achieve some entitlement in that context, but if that is a motivation, you are in the wrong motivation.
That is a superficial motivation.
Yeah, so I'm happy because I wanted to do this. I'm happy because I wanted to be here. I wanted to do this job. You know, that is my passion. I'm more passionate about these things. That makes me happy,
And do you know
and
what?
that is my success. That is my success. My parents sees in different way, and that's perfectly fine. In the end, my parents is like, okay, you are happy, we are happy. That's
Oh,
it.
that's good parents. Actually.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things which I think this lesson goes to almost every parent actually. You always need to listen your son, daughter, or your child basically, because my parents never stopped me actually, and sometimes I was in doubt, like why they don't ask me anything. They were like, I still today, I mean, whenever I say I'm going for this one, they were like, are you sure you want to do it? Are you happy you can do it? I'm like, yeah, I'm happy. I'm a little bit scared, but it feels like I can do it. They were like, okay, if you want, you can. If you decided, yeah, you can do it, go for it. We will support it anyway. Because in the end, we want you to get success, and if we want to support whatever you want to do it well. That's it.
That's a great wisdom.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you this one. I'm so privileged to have my all brothers, my parents, my relatives supporting. They didn't ask me any question till today. They are only asking when you get married.
Oh, that happens in everywhere.
I mean, you are staying alone all the time. Just go get find someone.
Several days ago, just literally several days ago, I read a book. It's about like thinking like a farmer. Do you know that book? In that book, it shows a lot of great philosophy. It's more like what's the meaning of thinking like a farmer? Like there are 10 or 20 things you need to do. And the first one is farmer never shouting to the weeds, to the grass. You cannot, and it's meaningless. You just nurturing it day by day, and you know good results gonna happen.
Yeah, that is what brings me to my own root. So when I was growing up, obviously, still my family is farmer. I think you should. I mean, everybody should go once in a lifetime to see farmer life, at least just to see. The biggest difference between farmer and the rest of the world is farmer teaches you patience, because you can't plant something today and expect a fruit tomorrow.
That's really insane. That's really.
It takes around 3 months, 6 months, a year, from seeds to plant to flower to get the fruit out of it, and it will always keep you grounded. You need to be patient with the weather. You need to be patient with labor. You need to be patient with everything around. You need to be taking care of every bit of it, and you see how seeds become a plant, you know, and then plants become a bigger plant, a tree, and then tree gives you a flower, and then flower gives you fruit, and then that fruit ripes in the time, and then you plug it and then eat it and
That's
made other people.
life's
Yeah.
connection with the ground, with the
Yeah,
world.
and then that teaches you how meaningful it is to have a farmer. I mean, to farm something as a farmer, it's a very proud work. Yeah, that gives me like whatever, wherever, whoever you are, become in whatever time, you always become a human being and you remain as a grounded farmer son. That is what I am, and that nothing goes on my head. I mean, nothing.
And I think there is another thing to being as a farmer. You need to have a strong resilience because you cannot
Very
negotiate
strong.
with the God.
No,
Let's say the
you cannot.
you cannot. If this year is dry, then it's dry. Raining a lot, then you have to take it.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
next year, you need to do it again. I know you're a very humble guy, but let's say if you can summarize some factors, no matter it's 3 or 5 factors, very short, just tell us why you can be so different with other kids in your village, why you can sit in here, why you can from nothing to now. What factors make you here?
it's very deep. Everybody has a life. Everybody has a 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and 7 days a month. I mean, 7 days a week, and then month and a year. When you die, what one thing remains
In the world.
in the world? That is your work. What you do as a person, how big, small impact you create.
They're resonating with you. What's your life goal? Come here. The life goal is having some fries. Free fries.
Oh God! So, when you die, what you want to leave on this world? It's just your work, your impact. So that keeps me grounded and also keep me going. I don't know where, how far I will go, but it is beyond my major.
When did you start to think about this question?
Very early, very early. I think when my grandparents passed away, that time, it was probably in 2004, 5.
At that
I was
time, you were pretty young.
very young, yeah. And that time onward, because my grandparents is very humble, very kind. Um, she was a very good lady. Again, farmer. I used to go with her to my farm to plug all the vegetables and stuff. She usually give vegetables to labor,
Oh.
like take it, you know, if you want it, take it. So that is where I come from. And when she passed away, she was very she was like, she always wanted me to like go for studies, study hard, do best. And I didn't understand why she was saying these things when I was obviously doing those things. And I was like, and I used to play a lot. So I need to admit that as well. I need to play a lot. I need to climb tree. The one of the best thing I used to have being child, I used to play and I used to climb tree because I used to have a guava tree at my backyard. My own guava tree. I used to come from school and then straight away just jump on the tree, just and sit there and eat a lot of guava and come back. And my grandparents like, I mean, in local life, she was like, I mean, she's amazing. She used to be amazing, and she was always complaining. My father, he's doing this one, he's doing that one. My father is like, okay. I mean, obviously, he used to scold a lot, a bit in front of her, and then I was like, okay, by 6 o'clock you need to sit for the studies. And
Okay.
I used to, because we didn't have electricity at home.
Oh.
Yeah, so we used to study in lamp,
Lamp.
like kerosene lamp.
Oh.
So I used to sit at 6 o'clock, and then study. That was my routine. Morning school, afternoon lunch break, and then my routine work, play and climb the tree, and then go back to school after lunch, and then come back and then again play, and then climb the tree, and then at 6 o'clock, sharp 6 o'clock, sit. Otherwise, if I'm playing again late, then she will again complain to my father, and then my father will again start scolding. And she was a big believer because she was not educated, so she was thinking like education is the only pathway you as a child has that can change your life.
Yes.
That is where it started, and I didn't understand until she passed away, and I had a lot of conflict in between. I was like, why she's
Pushing
always
you so hard.
pushing so hard. I was like, come on, give me some space.
And I'm a smart
And
kid.
then I was like, and then the things started like, oh God, no, go for it. Now it makes more sense. The moment I started seeing things growing in that direction, started reading and things, that started giving me like, oh wow.
Life is too short, but
That
you
is
need
where
to know.
that is where it started coming in, and then shaping the whole steps towards wherever I am. So yeah.
Because you just mentioned you want to read the magazines, and a lot of magazines are business management. But I mean, for a kid, maybe business management is pretty boring. Maybe it's talking about some leadership, it's talking about some organizational stuff. You've never, even your family members never work in a big organization. You don't have someone to talk with. Like, oh, is that true? What makes, like, yeah, transformative? So why you feel like you want to read it? Why you?
So now I'll correct it here. When you are a farmer, you grow something, right? And then you sell it.
Yeah.
And that is a part of business. And then when I was
You're your own supply chain and you're
You-
salesman.
you control almost everything. You're the
yeah.
producer, you're you know
The
seller, and then you go and you find the buyer comes in to you, and then they want to buy, and then you negotiate, and then you sell. That is where that is where the route started.
Yeah, and you need to manage your money for what kind of money for our daily life, what for next year's the seed.
The first business which I did was farming again.
Oh.
Yeah, during school time. So there was a one land behind my next to my backyard, and then the owner was a headmaster. And then I asked my mama, you know what, I want to do some farming, and she was like, you have a lot of farm. What farm do you want? I said, no, I want my farm.
Oh my, yeah.
And then she was like, okay. Then she talked to that headmaster, and he was like, oh yeah, this plot is empty. If he wants to do it, okay, let's do it 50-50. I'm like, okay, not 50-50. I'll use it, and then I'll take 1 year as try.
Oh yeah.
Let's see I can do it or not. And then I hired another guy who was working in my farm. I said, okay, I'll do all the investment part. Obviously, I'll work with you over the weekends and after my school, and you also work. I'll teach you, and I also, but I'll not pay you to work, but I'll give you 50-50. I'm like, okay, that was the first, and
Smart.
the first one was a cucumber. That's why I love cucumber.
Oh yeah.
The first thing we uh, started with the cucumber, and yeah, I did it for around 6 months, and then I gave this farm to him. Like, okay, go for it, take it. I can still teach you. I can work. I will not be able to work because I started teaching other kids. It gives me a little bit of a different kind of experience altogether. And like, oh, that sounds cool. And that was the first one. And the second one was during festival in Bihar. I come from a state called Bihar. We have a Chhat Puja, basically. It's a festival, Hindu festival, but in Bihar, it's a big significance to everybody because it's farmer gets more associated with the Chhat and all the festival because we produce vegetables and then banana. Banana is one of the
Main, yeah.
so during Chhat Puja, I used to uh, ask for the banana. So I used to buy one bunch of one big banana
The
and
tree.
and then again that same friend who was my business partner, I used to say, okay, this is again one, let's buy two, and then we'll sell it during the chat. So we used to 50-50 again. So he used to do all this thing. I was like, okay, this is my 50. I used to buy money from my mom, give me pocket money.
Investors. Yes.
Investor, £100. It was a £1 basically.
Okay.
A £1 means 100 rupees, and then I used to invest that 100 and make 200 in 15 days. 50 to him, 50 me, and 50. Obviously my mommy. I was like, mom
I
takes
feel
it.
like you have took a lot of joy from that, right?
Yeah,
And
I
it's
mean,
not
like,
definitely not about money because
no,
that's
it's
not
like
that
it's
much
like
money.
a fun way
So
of
just a-
doing things. Like, come on, and yeah, that is where I started.
So from your heart, from your root, you genuinely love the thing, that business. You love the business area.
It's like I love the value creation. Let's put it in a language that we business world.
Yes.
Value creation, that's what, and
Value
that
creation.
remains rooted basically. Education and the business, that is where I find my sweet spot. Business gives you more leverage towards doing something good for not one person but a lot of people. And then education gives you more opportunity to do bigger impact in the general context of the society.
So I feel like if we summarize the biggest similarity of all your journey, no matter the young story about teaching people to farming or do a little farming business, or later when you come to Leeds to do MBA, you became a TED organizer. It's always given me the feeling that you love to impact others,
Yeah,
no matter in which way, and the positive impact definitely. Yeah.
I'm a huge believer. I can't do everything by myself. For example, TED was an idea. That was my idea. But it could have been never possible without the great people in my team.
Yeah, so please tell us more. Like now we know. It's a very dramatic, cute story. When you're a little boy, you want to learn English, and then you watch TED, you learned a lot of different perspectives to the world from very different people in the global. And when you come to UK, that's your first time to come abroad, right? And you said, you think, okay, I want to be a TED organizer. It's a little bit insane.
That to university.
Yeah, in university. And a lot of people, let's say, are more qualified than you to do the organizer. Maybe they are already the manager of some business school. They've already have the huge impact on some BBC, maybe let's say. We have alumni working in BBC. Why you? Why you think you can do, and how you do it at the first step, second step?
This story started in 2020 actually. So
But you went to Leeds at 2022.
yeah, I came in 2022,
Yeah,
but it started my okay. So whatever I do, it is obviously intentional. It's like intentional. It started in 2020 because when I decided, okay, what is the next big thing for me? What I can do best? I said, okay, I want to go for masters, and I want to be the top 100 business school in the world, and I want to do these 5 things. I wrote down these 5 things.
Yeah, which
and
5
TEDx was TEDx, Oxford competition, Harvard global case competition, Spark competition. Spark is enterprise competition, and then be a business school ambassador. These were the 5 lists I wanted to do as a student. If I ever become a student, I
Oh, God.
decided in 2020 before even writing my SOP. So in my SOP as well, I wrote exact same thing what I wanted to do. How I wanted to do.
What were you doing when 2020?
I was working. I think, yeah, I was working. No, I resigned from my work. I had my startup that time. I was running my startup.
The startup is about.
That startup was a sustainable product selling in US. So yeah.
Oh.
So that is again another story. I was working in again multinational company, one of my dream company. Um, During that one, I was supposed to go to Dubai because I was applying for the Dubai job, and then COVID happened, and then because of COVID, all the travel restriction happened, and then I had to drop my plan, and then I was frustrated quite a bit in 2020.
Yeah, 2020 is the
And
toughest
then
year.
I was like, okay, I want to resign. And then I left my well stable job. And then I was like, what I can do? I was like, okay, I always wanted to start something. Let's take that as a step. So that left my job and then rent a 3 BHK apartment in Noida, one of the very fancy area because it was a COVID anyway, so I could either go back to my home village and then I stayed there and then I was like, okay, if I'm staying quarantine, like, inside a room all the time, what I can do. So I rented that a 3 BHK apartment in a high rise building and then started building my company. And then luckily, it was the fastest. I did it in 41 days from idea, left my job, took 7 days just to sleep and do nothing. I did exact 7 days, exact nothing. 20th of August was my final day in my office. I started going for my work on 27th of August. And from 27th of August till 1st of November.
Oh, yeah.
September, October. So basically, it's like it took around 15 days to finalize all the paperwork and stuff. And then I made my first sale in 1st November
Okay.
in US. So basically, from idea to start a business to product development to branding, organize, packaging,
So
shipping,
quickly.
and thing, and renting a warehouse in the US, and then setting up your own Amazon store, and then our supplier, and then making everything possible. It had happened exact that moment.
How did you make it? It's so quickly. I mean, especially that things in COVID, that normally it's gonna
Yeah.
longer than the,
Yeah,
common
exactly.
situation.
But
How did you make it? Why so quickly?
because I was driven like, okay, I want to do it. I want to do it quickly. I want to do it fast. I had a co-founder, one of my college friends' brother. We were traveling 15, I think 7 days straight on car. Every next day we were traveling to another vendor, trying to find a supplier, giving the design, designing our own product, our way, best quality, top quality, and then packaging material, everything, doing all the branding ourselves, and then packing my own product in my own flat, and then that is how it started. Uh, it was just like, if you are passionate about something, you anyway do it. You don't feel work as work like that. That taught me more than anything else in my whole career. At that time, exact that moment, it was like 2020. So
What things you learned from that? You said it's the biggest.
how you can start, even because it's not too difficult to start something, right? Because obviously it is very difficult to start. I'm just being very candid.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, Durga.
Because one thing is you need to convince yourself whether you can do it or not.
Yeah.
Before
Yeah.
you do anything, you need to convince yourself that you are capable enough to do it, okay? Because that keeps you motivated. Motivation, again, I'm sorry, motivation is actually bullshit. Motivation fluctuates in time and situation, right? In the morning, motivation goes up, afternoon goes down, in the middle of the day, anything happens, right?
It's
Motivation.
not
Consistent,
stable,
but
consistent.
if you are passionate, you are like driven, that keeps you anyway going.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Come in. It's like if you are passionate or driven, you will do anyway. If you are feeling ache in your brain, I'm like, you're tired, super tired, you're feeling sleepy, but you are driven, you will definitely do anyway.
Here's a small question. You think most people have passion, just maybe they're not review it yet? Or you think passion just belong to some people?
First of all, the meaning of passion depends on the person to person, because I may be passionate for something, you may be passionate for something, and you're driven towards that passion, and conviction may be different than mine.
Yes.
Um,
It's
people
like how to define passion, right?
Yeah, it's like how you convince yourself. Convince other people. You need to convince yourself. Like you are someone you already convinced, and you can do this. Because if you are convinced by yourself, if you are the biggest cheerleader for yourself,
Yeah.
that keeps you extra push for your whatever you do, and that is the deal breaker in whole starting point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that goes beyond anything actually. And that keeps you motivated, that keeps you active, that keeps you focused, that keeps you in discipline actually. You do it anyway because that is your driven factor. So
Please summarize something about in the business side. What's your biggest takeaway from the business
out of
side?
that business, I would say choose your partner very carefully. Because two things happens in business. One is trust, and one is your alignment with the goal that you want to do.
Trust and alignment of the goal.
For example, I see that far, I can go that far, but as a founder, you can see this far. So you always see this far, and where I see that far. So my approach going there is that far is very different than you going there this far.
Yes.
Because you will be like, okay, I need immediate, I want to make money, okay, I want to be a rich, super rich in overnight. Whereas I see 3 years, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 3 years, 6
5
years,
years, yeah,
or 10
yeah.
years probably. And that is where, that gives me one learning. And then the second learning was, do not put your happiness in success of your business or money. Because if you put your happiness, if you associate, or let's say you tag your happiness with, if I do this, I'll be more happy. If I go here, I'll be more happy. You're in a wrong tangent. Because you will never go achieve that. If you even achieve that, you will always feel like, oh no, I'm the next one now. I'll be more happy. You should always enjoy the journey itself, because that is the best success for me. I enjoy journey more than anything, and I do not celebrate. That's the big thing. I even don't celebrate my birthday, because I feel like my every night 365 days is more celebrative than my birthday one day. I celebrate my life as every day because it's obviously why you wait for one day? It's obviously one day. Your mom, dad should celebrate. You should thank them because they brought you
give the
in this
birth.
world, and then obviously God. But it's like approach to life is different, more of like a philosophy.
Oh, yes. And you think these 3 points just very hugely to help you to build your right now new company, right?
Yeah, I mean, that is where it started basically. When I participated in a business competition, I was the first MBA student. I did it. I was the first winner, and while doing this thing, startup incubation facility, and then a great team in Spark. Always grateful for them. Really lovely people, very motivated, always supportive.
Yeah.
I have a genuine respect for them. Very high respect in my personal life, and impact in my personal and professional life as well, including my all team, whoever I worked with. That lesson that I learned in my first startup, I implemented it in second one. So when I had the option to go all alone and solo, I was like, okay, I can do that one. And then I was like, okay. So the trust part comes first in this startup.
So let's go back to 2020. you quit your job, start to start up from scratch, and from the idea to operating just like
2 months.
2 months.
And that
And
too, US market.
Yes, US market. That's a
very
huge
different.
difference. And then it's not have a very good result, or
It
because
was
you want to.
because it was a very early time. I was relatively new in this business. I didn't have a lot of money. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I wanted to try, but little I know that when you start something, you need to have two money. One is for business money that you start and then you make money,
Yeah.
cash flow, and then another one is your survival money, and that is where I come from. So I didn't take anything from anywhere. It was just self-funded investment from my all saving, and then
Is that hard to? I mean, go to some bank to have some loan, or
I did not want. I mean, even today, I do not recommend people going to bank and raising money until unless you prove your money. I mean, your business is worthy enough to get invested.
It's a good module to running, to expanding.
Yeah, and that gives you more motivation than anything, because sorry, I need to mention this statement because it's quite important for the young generation, whoever watching this one.
Yeah.
Do not raise money just because of the sake of money, raising money, or you want to be a multi-million. I mean, it's all nonsense. Everybody wants to be start a founder or business owner. Go for it if you have a real motivation and driven for it. Conviction, first of all, that's important. That brings me to the first point, principle when I say why you want to do business. You need to make sure that you have a good reason to say, okay, I want to do it because I want to do it. I am bringing this value to the table. You're not someone, okay, he's doing the same thing and I want to do the same thing, but I'm copying everything. I mean, you are replaceable, right? If you want to do business with the value creation. Bring something on the table that nobody did earlier, and that keeps you long term. That is where a business is always a long term game, and sometimes quick fix is okay. Start today, sell it tomorrow. That's great. Make some money and leave it. Flipping is also okay, but just for the sake of saying it as a founder, co-founder, don't get into that. It's all nonsense. Because in the end, you will start regretting that it's all high, it's all fancy way of saying looking cool.
It's a trap.
It's actually a trap. It's trap. 99% business fails because of this reason only. Because they do not have a good reason to start a business. They just did it because they want to do it. And they did not feel like, okay, these are business bringing more value to the customer or buyer in that context. And that is a big reason. That's a big lie.
Yes.
And if you are just motivated to raise money just because of raising money, it means you are gambling on something which you don't have.
Yeah.
Most of the time, people think like, I want to do it because great idea, great product, it will run. Did you check with the actual customer? Did you go and talk to them? Free sampling is amazing, okay? Can they spend £10 to buy your product? That is exact number where you see as a friend saying you have a great idea, great product, it tastes good. Can you invest to buy this product and spend £10?
No.
Sorry. That's perfectly fine.
I love you, but no.
That sounds great. Okay,
Yeah.
that is genuine and honest. Okay, but does this make me not to pursue it? Absolutely no. You may say no because you don't need it. Maybe she needs it. He needs it. Probably I need to go to the right customer.
Yeah.
So do your homework. Get into the point where customer really wants your product, and then you are different than the other person, and you have your own brand story.
Be realistic. Don't
realistic.
sit in your room and think everything in your mind. Oh, I know everything. I searched something. That's dumb.
Somebody was saying this one. You are successful twice,
What's the meaning of
and
that?
you are a failure in twice. Successful twice means you success in your brain first,
Yeah. It
and then
always happens.
okay, because now I'm thinking, okay, I should have a house at London,
Yeah.
somewhere. And now, oh, where I'm sitting at my room or bed.
Yeah.
And then the next one is like, I really work hard. I have money in my house. And go there and buy house. That's success. It's a big difference.
Yeah.
This success, the first one, it took just 10 seconds to
Illusion.
feel like, oh yes, I have a house.
It's an
It feels
illusion.
great. This yacht.
Yeah.
This looks so good. I could have this one. Mine.
But in China, there is a norm. It's about, in Chinese, I would say it first, called 事以密成. For English, it means, it's a very ancient Chinese wisdom. When you really want to do something,
You do it.
you do it and tell no one.
No one, exactly.
And before that, I assume the reason why people say that is about some, like, more conventional, traditional, Chinese weird philosophy about that, or from the dark side, if somebody know and they maybe to break it intentionally. But then I heard some philosophers and psychologists, they say, if you want to do something and you keep talking about it to others, then in your mind, you're unconsciously to think you've already achieved it. So you don't want to make that effort. So it's gonna a higher possibility that you're gonna fail. So
And then,
you do it and silently.
sorry.
That's against to my podcast. Same. From now on, nobody want to be the guest.
No, I'll tell you what. You know the reflection.
Reflection?
Yeah. Okay. My way, how I do it. Okay. It is my way. Okay.
Yeah,
Take it, leave it.
Yeah, share
If
it.
you like it, use it. Leave it. If you don't like it,
Share
okay.
it.
So I used to write a diary. Okay. Annual. So every birthday, when I have a birthday, I'm not gonna reveal it. I write my goal for that year on, and then and it's not just for that year. It's like I always think forward, like 3 years, 5 years, like that way. Because okay, let me give you the example. When I was in 10th class, I decided 10 plus 2 plus 3 plus 2. You know what does this mean? No. Okay. I think it started in 8th standard. 8th is like 8th class. When I was in 8th, I wrote like 8 plus 2 plus 10. No, 8 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus 2. Means 8 standard to 10th board, board standard to 12th intermediate. Intermediate is exam. Actually, I'm just giving you the academic.
Yeah.
And then intermediate to the graduation 3 years or 4 years. And then 3 plus 2 means master for 2 years. In India, it's a 2 years master's.
Okay, yes.
That was my goal. So I used to write like that way. And then when I graduated, I was like, okay, now I have 5 years. 3 years work, 2 years masters. So to get into the best business school, you have to have a minimum 3 years. And then you have a 2 years master. That was my goal in 2014. When I started, and then in between came in my motivation. I want to do social work. I want to do my IES, IPS work kind of thing. I started preparing for it. I gave my IES prelims exam. In India, people will be knowing this, what prelims is, what IAS exam is. Okay, I'm just giving you that context. Yes. I always wanted to be either IAS or just in my corporate life. Simple, no middle way. I always wanted to be either top one that side or top one this side. Nothing in between. I always have like that one. My goal is very simple, very clear. I want to either be that side in a very top, that's this side very top.
Very top.
Either in business very top or work my very top. And nothing in between. I can do sometime adjustment here and there just to survive. I did it actually. Nobody knows. I also worked in what do you call it? Falafel restaurant for 2 months. Yeah, I mean in Leeds. So it's a great story. Different, but yeah, it keeps you like survival.
Okay, here's the word. Sorry, I forgot the name. But recently, like 2 years in Instagram, the word is super popular.
Manifestation.
Manifestation. It's a little bit like your diary stuff. But
So,
you know,
no.
they're gonna make it more magic. But you are.
No. Manifestation is the same process basically. So when you write it, okay, in Harvard case study, one of the case study Harvard did, their master student, I mean, they were doing some research and they were like, bring half of the class student, right? Ask them to write their goal when they graduate, where they want to see themselves after 1 year. And then half of the student, a group of the people, gave nothing. So they were like, do whatever you want to, live the way you want to, just be the way they want to. Simple. And that was research done by Harvard, and it's quite famous in academic world and in general in business world. The people who wrote their goal where they want to see after MBA, masters, I think it was MBA. Those people were more successful than the people who did not write. So in my case, when I was when I write it, I make it like make sure that I am aligned to this, and it keeps your life decluttered basically. It doesn't gives you swayed here and there. It keeps you like focused, go for this, and exact that direction. That's it.
Okay.
My life is very plain and simple. Very plain and simple. I'm very boring person as a person. Not really. I mean, boring. I'm saying this because
You're trying to be humble and.
boring in the sense I do
I know
very
what you
basic thing. I'm not super
It's like farming. Farming is a basic thing, actually.
basic, proper basic. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Just do it. Don't overcomplicate things. People try to do same thing in 10 places. Why you are doing that? Come on. One place, one time, that's it. You know.
But because some people say maybe it's gonna add the possibility of I win. It's like put 10 eggs in 10 baskets. Although it's for portfolio, for investment, but people use this theory in this thing. People think maybe it's gonna increase the shot.
I'll tell you.
You don't think so? Yeah. Say something.
Yeah, when you put your egg in different basket, it's great strategy for business.
Yeah.
But your life is not business. Your life is your life. You have one life, and I'm not saying you should have only one goal. You have a 3 goal, but that goal needs to be the best goal of your own life. Today is the first and the last day of today. Okay, it is not going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
So make every decision that you really want to make cautious. Be careful about it.
Ask me a question, which is a little bit deep. What's your biggest fear? I will say it first. My biggest fear is regretting. Let's say regretting. Because I also come from a pretty humble background from my family. My dad is like a worker in the factory. My mom is like a normal teacher. And they have me when they're pretty young, like early 20s. So since I have memory, they fight a lot. And when I was a teenager, my mom always say, what if I da-da-da-da-da? What if I da-da-da-da-da? And when I grow older, when I start to drink beer with my dad, sometimes I feel like, he also say these kind of things. And both of them, it's not about their marriage, it's about their life. Yeah. Both of them have a lot of regret about my dad. Very, regret he didn't go to Beijing to do business. because he had a great chance to do that, but he was too afraid. Let's say afraid. My mom was regret to be a tour guide, which is interesting because she's really into, guiding people, and she's very passionate about exploring new cities, new scenarios, and she's not afraid of any accidents, anything. So I think she's gonna be the best tour guide. So when I was like in my teenager and my early 20s, I always listened to them like that. And I also, I talk with some of my mentors, even my boss. I feel like everybody, every middle-aged people have a regret. And when they talk to me, I sincerely can feel they do feel a little bit bad, but at the same time, they don't want to show the emotion too much in front of me. And at the end, everybody say, you know what, Yuning, you're young. It is what it is. Sometimes you need to respect the fate, or let's say destiny or karma. Maybe this is the best approach. If I didn't do this, then we don't meet. And I was like, oh my God, don't try to comfort me. So I think my biggest fear is regret. I really afraid it. And I don't know if I just choose some wrong way, made some bad decision, and I regret what's gonna happen. I still don't know. But now I try to make every decision rationally. That's my thing. So what's yours?
Okay, I need to happily admit it now that I don't have. I always okay. I'll give you one very interesting context that will give you. I mean, that will be a very different thing. Whenever I do something, okay. So anybody, I mean, for example, you even,
Yeah.
you always have a choice. You go hard way or easy way. I always choose hard way.
Yes. If I choose the easy way, 25 years old, I'm gonna marry to a guy, and that's it. Now I have 2 kids, very silly.
And when I choose hard way, that to make sure that I should not regret about it. And that is why I do that one.
Always choose the hard way.
Not necessarily to choose hard way. I put it that way. I'm saying I choose the things that I should regret if I'm not doing. For example, I do not choose a thing which I may regret not doing it. So I do rather choose that one rather regretting it.
Oh,
So
yes.
I try to make a decision to minimize my regret in a later stage. So if you ask me, do you have any regret? I would 999% say yes, I do not have any regret at all. Because everything with whatever I have been thinking about, I did it and I'm very happy with it. So basically, okay, I wanted to start a business, I did it, I failed it, but I am not regretting it. The result is not in my control, but I did it because I wanted to do it. If I could have not done it, I might be regretting it today. So going for my master's or MBA, had a choice: stay in a job, do my same thing, or regret later not doing MBA. I chose to do MBA,
it.
not to regret it. And then I had an option to go back to the corporate or go back to my area of interest, which is education, higher education, my passion, to go for that one or go for other career. I had option to go for other one as well. I was like, no, I'm going for that. That is where I'll not regret it. So I'm there, so I'm not regretting it.
Yeah,
So-
that's a great idea.
So basically, you always try to intersect in a decision making situation what you're gonna regret and do that rather.
Oh yes. And now I think people are gonna be very curious about how you like implement it like a business. You have an idea, but how to implement in every event. So firstly, how did you start to organize TED Leads at the first place? And what were you chasing at that moment? Because you've already wrote down it at 2 years earlier before that.
Yeah. So when I was organizing TEDx, it was very clear from the day one. If I do it, I'll do it my way, and my way is very. I mean, you're my best friend. Okay. If I don't see you have that driven factor, you will not work with me on that project.
Oh.
And that had happened with me actually. Few of my friend, I have been telling them, you know what, I'm doing this. Will you be part of it? Sorry, it's like cold. So I was saying, I'm doing this. Will you be a part of it? Would you support them? They were like straight away, you can. It's in why you are doing this. First question was like that.
Yeah.
It's
Why?
volunteer. Why you are doing that? You have already a lot of thing. I was like, okay, you don't see value. That's great. So you are definitely not gonna work on that one. And then I was like, another guy. I genuinely told them, this is happening. Would you be part of it? They were like, I'm busy as of now. I'm like, okay, you are not again. You are out of this league. And then I started. I met the first girl at reception in Union, and then she. I don't know whether I can take her name or not, but let's put it like that way. I met her. She's amazing. One of the best person I have met there. Still very good, very sharp, very great supporter to this idea. And then I was like, see, this is the idea and this is the vision I want to achieve. I don't want no friend, only people who deserve to be in a part of this team.
Yeah.
And that is where we started recruiting. I was going everywhere to stick that QR code, apply for the
Oh
this
yeah,
one.
QR code.
And then in the meantime, I had a very good my director, and then all the team member coming in and pushing me go for it. I met my mentor again there. It was like, okay, let's meet. Met him, and then he was like, that sounds great. You can do this. Let me know what you need, whatever help we can. And then they introduced me to the chancellor, deputy chancellor, and then I had a word with him as well. In between, all team came together. I was seeing things happening actually. Just imagine, your idea is taking shape actually, and I was so happy and excited. And then in the meantime, I was interviewing other candidate for being team member. Interviewed around 35 just to be a team member. So we were having
Yeah.
17 team members.
Before that, I want to clarify one thing. You said you want to make it different in your
I'm
way.
just
What's
co-
your way? Yes.
My way was I want to cover all EDI part, and then it should be diverse. My team should have all gender first of all in my team, all nationality possibly, whoever number I can accommodate
Definitely.
from different part of the world, and the same for the speaker as well. I wanted my speaker to be all diverse, from national, international, and the local means UK, including university, non-university, and industry and startup.
And I'm a little bit confused about it. So all your guests from the worldwide,
yeah, they
they're
are from
gonna
worldwide.
they're gonna follow your guidance to have the presentation in Leeds University, and then you're gonna recruiting the filming and editing team.
We had our own organizing team, so I was working with the two different things at the same time.
Yeah.
Actually, let's put it in a three bracket. University team directly working with me. I was the face of that. I had my organizing team as a volunteers. I had my whole speaker team who's just taking care of the speaker.
Oh yes.
I was also a student. I was in the center of my whole these
Surrounded,
surrounded, and that is where I started.
And all the shows, I mean the presentations, gonna put on the website of TED
Yeah,
and
it is already
YouTube.
there. It is already successful.
In
Very
YouTube.
successful. Very, very successful. One thing I realize, a great idea is hardly make any sense without a great team.
Oh, yes.
And I'm so proud to each one of my team member till today, and always be grateful. Uh, they are the best team member I have ever worked with. I mean, re- genuinely, really, really grateful to the success that we had. Uh, One more thing which I need to tell everybody, I think, um, every individual is a leader by themselves. You just need to make sure you understand their value and also give them freedom
Yeah,
to
yeah.
be themselves.
So that's the key of recruiting people. You
I
need to
mean, yeah,
recruit
I mean,
right people.
right people at the
Place.
right place, and
Yes.
giving them the right way of doing things, because there are two types of people you will work with. One is a blind follower. They just come, yes boss, yes
Like a
ma'am,
tool.
yes boss, yes ma'am, and hardly ask really tough question. Or as a leader, you need to have a audacity to listen the real hard question,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then try to give them enough justification to answer their curiosity and the question at the same time. Because either you work with normal people as an average,
Yeah.
or you work with the extremely high potential individual
Yeah.
who has a high level of work life and value in their work, because that makes team as a team a great team. Average team or great team, these are the difference. Normal team or average team has one thing common: yes boss, yes ma'am. It's like I'm trying to please you as a manager
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because I want you to support me or favor me, but that's okay. I mean,
But as a manager, you cannot be enjoyable for that. That would be really pathetic. Yes, I know it's very brutal, but I know it always happens. It's
and
always
for to be a good leader, to do something exponentially better and great, you'll have to have a very big, vast campus, a canvas of thought,
yeah,
and then
yeah, yeah.
put all those thought in frame, and then take that frame in shape, and then let every bits of it visible enough to see, oh yeah, this works, this works, this works. This is the best learning curve. This is the best way of learning. This way we can go. This can be done this way. This can be done that way. That is how this works. And this is that is what we learn in our
Yeah, yeah,
MBAs.
yeah, definitely. And because we have like different experience in different companies, but we see some similarities
Yeah,
before.
obviously.
So definitely. Besides that, give me like some details or examples or some summarize about when would you notice that this people is doing the faking genuines. He's not or she's not. It's faking. How do you observe it? How do you pinpoint?
Evidence.
I mean,
Evidence.
what's the symbol? What's the symbol of that?
Okay. Always check the pattern.
Oh, that's a great thing.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
To see the okay pattern tells you more than words basically. I can tell you whatever I feel like to you, okay, as a person when you talk, but your pattern, my pattern, can tell you something very different story altogether. One talk, two meeting, three meeting, you will always remember what pattern is going on. Yeah. Pattern, and how you ask for the pattern, because if you are meeting somebody first time, you ask for three things what they have done in last.
That's important. Okay.
If you meet someone and if you want to work with them, you always ask them what you have done in this situation. For example, tell me a situation when you think was not correct and you think it was going beyond your control. What did you do?
That's a good question.
What did you do to handle that situation? Did you just handle it, not so telling other people, or maybe the people that wanted to listen that, or is it something you just
And how deeply you want to change it, how far you want to these things move forward. That shows the people's real mindset and how they care about people and the world, actually.
Yeah, exactly. And the second one is the best judge. Listen them, what they are talking about.
Oh, yeah.
For example, I can talk about someone bad, okay? Am I complaining it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's very common. Actually, in a lot of groups, people do that. A lot.
If you really want to take one thing out of all this podcast, take one thing. You will have 99 reason to complain, okay? But there will be one reason to not to complain, or maybe it is vice versa. No, opposite. You have one reason to complain and 99 reason to be grateful.
Which one do you
Choose. You want to go for one to complain or 99 reason to be grateful? I'll always choose 99.
Yeah,
reason.
where you put your eyes on is where
Exactly.
you.
And always,
That's
I mean,
the
that is my way. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't complain anyway. I never complain in my whole life and career. I try to do things. I try to say this is or that way. I'm not happy. I'm trying to find out, figure out things like that. But I do not complain about it. I don't take things in my head. That is very different me. Different for me. And one more thing that worked for me, probably may work, may not work. I'm not a smart person. I'm a very hardworking person. I feel like you can be smart once or twice. If you're a genuine hardworking person, you will win 99% all the time. Because you know your way to make things happen. 99%, a 99 way to make it happen like that way. And if you're like smart, you may be once or twice, not all the time.
Let's move it to your MBA manager in New Korea.
Oh,
In
yeah.
Southampton, yeah. And I know Southampton MBA is super great, super great. Although I'm an MBA of Leeds, but but yeah, I know it's super great. So I would say that would be pretty interesting. Just 2 years ago, you are MBA of Leeds, and now you're MBA manager in another school. You definitely gain the two different perspectives in MBA itself.
Yeah.
So I want to represent some our audience to ask a sharp question. What kind of people are not fitable for pursuing MBA? Are not.
So there are three things that is quite important. I'm not sure whether I'm allowed to talk about this. Since it is my personal experience, I can talk obviously. Sometimes, okay, the biggest red flag for not doing MBA is MBA will change my life. I will do MBA and earn £110,000 a month, or maybe a year, or maybe £110,000 package I will get, after MBA. MBA will help me to find the best job in the world, MBA will, because of the MBA degree, I will get hundreds of interviews every month.
That's going to be a golden talent.
Yeah, golden talent.
No.
It's not.
Where do you think MBA is headed in the future? Because some people say, I think I read some article from The Economist.
Yeah.
They say now the value of MBA actually is decreasing for the labor market. So what do you think of it?
Again, this question is
neutral, not related
to my work at all. I need to because I need to purely mention this because it's my individual opinion and nothing to do with my work as an individual, what I think. And also because my dissertation was in business model innovation, and that is where this question comes in a very, very apt time. I think I see this as not a challenge, rather opportunity. Business school needs to evolve and their curriculum needs to evolve to match the demand of the market. For example, what is going to work look like in future? Not future now. Actually, it is happening now, today, in 2025, because 2024, 25, and how it will shape the rest of the world in MBA or maybe labor market in next 3-5 years. And the leaders working in this industry needs to be very careful about how things should be, so that your student gets real time practical exposure and experience to go back to the industry and shape the course of that industry and labor market itself. Otherwise it will be like any old fashioned degree. I mean, Harvard professors coming in openly and exposing a lot of things. A lot of things is happening in whole higher education sector, but I still strongly believe MBA as a degree is a great degree, but it gives you more exposure than any other degree. That is where I see a great value proposition, because this degree only, I think, I can't talk about other degree, but I can talk about MBA in personally, because I also did MBA. MBA gives you more exposure than any other degree, direct exposure to the industry, and then how you leverage that as a student, that is on you, not on the university or the program itself. So that sums up a 360 view of your MBA degree and journey. The big message to all the leaders in this industry is make sure your curriculum is up to date.
Oh yeah, update.
You should have a generative AI and things
Yeah.
in place,
Yes.
not just a module, but a compulsory module for everybody.
But recently in this semester, James, our professor of last semester is about strategy. This semester is leading practice. We were talking about like being a new manager in today's era, where people are talking about work at home or hybrid work life. So as a manager, how do you face this like challenge?
I mean,
So we're like, and I was like, oh, that's good. I want to learn from it.
yeah, I mean, James is my biggest admirer. I learned a lot from him. The main strategy part, obviously. I see this as because this question is very strong and this question itself is a very different than any other question that you can ask for. Okay, let me be brutal honest here. I think it is one of the necessity to learn about these skills, because if you don't know, you are out of business actually.
Yes.
I mean, literally you are out of business. As a leader, as I said, my profile and myself falls under dynamic leadership context. I'm not a micromanager at all. I hate that kind of a leader who try to sneak peek almost every part of your work, because it's not their work anyway, and I don't know why few people does it anyway. Leave that. I mean, you will see an experience you might have already experienced. Incompetent manager or leader are those who are fearful leader, who don't trust themselves, don't always try to get into your work, even though nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
And whereas we come in picture as a new leader, or maybe emerging leader or manager in the age of AI, where we try to do certain things differently. We try to leverage, increase our productivity in whatever way. If you don't know these details, like how it works, what it works, how it works for you as an individual, may not work for others, you probably will have a very hard time in coming time. And one more thing, I just need to mention this, is very, very strong. Irrespective of your industry, irrespective of your degree, whether you do MBA or not, you'll have to learn these skills. Take some time off, put some hours, go for reading, just make sure you should know enough to do or make these tools work for you in coming, let's say, 6 months or a year. It should be like within a 6 months to 1 year, you should be capable enough to make sure you have a pool of agents ready to work for you. I'm working on it actually. I'm learning and I'm working, and I'm a huge believer. It will work fantastic. it's exciting time to see that.
Yeah, and I feel like, you see, you have already got great experience, very sufficient, and now you're still learning and you're still trying to developing your new startup company. Can I say startup?
Yeah, you can say that.
Okay, so I think our audience is going to be very interested in this part because I would introduce it firstly in one sentence based on my understanding. You want to create a beverage that can replace the coffee because it would be more healthy, made by mushroom. Am I right?
Yeah.
Please tell us more about how you start this and how's the process right now.
Okay, first of all, again, this is this company which I started while doing my MBA. I think after MBA, after winning the competition,
Spark's competition, yes.
enterprise competition at the university, and grateful for all the team, enterprise team at my university. The idea for this one was because I'm addicted to coffee. I need one coffee every day, at least one in the morning.
Me too.
Black coffee every morning, 8 o'clock. I mean, that's
That's the start of a day.
and then a tea and coffee was like okay, and I wanted to do something like different, and that is where I met my co-founder in one of, I think I messaged him, yeah, on LinkedIn, and then we were like okay, we met, we discussed, and then he's very talented, very young, 22, 23, I think, old, and that is where we started, and he did his MSc. He finished his MSc, and he was doing a biotech, and I was like okay, that sounds cool, let's do that.
If you can talk to the 18-year-old version of you, what do you want to say to him?
Only few things which I give advice to myself as 18 years, could have spent a little bit more time with parents, because the more you grow in career, you start being more distant from your parents,
Yeah.
and then
Are they worried about you or tired?
uh, tired.
Yeah. Are they worried about if you are tired sometimes because they're that far away?
Yeah, I mean, as and when we talk, they feel like it's too much. You are doing a lot, which is not good. I mean, it's good. You want to do it. That's your life.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
is it worth it? If you think like it's worth it, that's good. You are happy. It's just very deep. Sorry, I don't want to demotivate.
That's
Take
good.
it to.
That's
But I
good.
mean, if you're young and if you're watching, like 16, 17 years, spend some time with your parents. It's quite important, because your parents is growing old. You are also growing old. You will have your own life over a period of time.
Yeah.
Marry, then you will have your own life. But as a parents, they only care about your happiness in the end. In this entire universe, if somebody really wants your happy and they want to see successful, they are the parents. They don't demand anything out in return. They just see you happy and be successful. And always be grateful for your parents. They have sacrificed a lot for you than you can or you could ever think of.
That's a great suggestion. Although it's not super innovative, but that's great. That's a perfect suggestion. That's perfect.
Just understand, since childhood till today, they have sacrificed a lot that we could have ever imagined. So be kind, be humble, be loving, be caring for them. That goes a long way. Because when you grow, when you will have a child, when you have your own life, wife. I'm still not married. I'm just talking so deep, sorry. Then you will understand that. So yeah.
That's great.
And also, more important, people matters more than anything in this world. Nothing matters. People matters. be with the good people. And I'm really grateful for all my people around.